Hello. Yeah. Hey guys, how are you doing? Yeah, so I want to get back to live streaming just to see how things go. Hello. Hello, Shayden Saldahan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Yeah, I want to get back to live streaming and see how things go. And yeah. So today we're going to attempt to do something like this. This is from Mike Mikhail. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Choknowicz. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm going to leave a link to his artwork so that you can take a look at what we are going to be attempting to do. I like his art style. Yes, this we're going to be using Eevee and to create. This is quite detailed, and I just love the theme that he's doing here, the colors he is using. Hello there, and yeah, so let's get into it. I'm just going to. Hello, Burning Bright, how are you doing? So let's open up Blender and see how we are going to set this up. Let me just copy an image here. We're just going to use this as inspiration, but maybe let me see if I can minimize this and see if I can have Blender over, if this will be enough space. Yeah, if you're here, you can say hi so that I know your name and just to get to use to the people here. So this is what we're going to attempt to make here. So and you can follow the link there to see the work we're going to be looking at here. I just love how he handled the colors here. So let's just get started. I usually like to start with a flow. Not sure how big this is going to be, and I also like to set up my camera first, so I'm just going to move my camera around. You can use image viewer for the reference. It's easier that way. Yeah, I can do that, but I want to see all the images here, and I also just want to leave this here so that anyone who wants to check where we are the reference we are using, they can follow the artist here directly. So I'm just going to move my camera a bit here and just grab this and something like that. Going to scale this up a bit and let me get my camera, maybe make it a little bit wider, something like that. Just pull it back. Yes, seems we have made our scene too big, so I'm just going to bring this somewhere like that. Now we can add in these poles here. We can start working on some of the poles, some of the walls. And for this ground surface, what we can do is set up a simple material. Nice songs in the background. Yeah, this is a playlist from the non-copyright songs channel, YouTube channel. So to detail this flow, we're not going to add that much detail, but what I'm going to do is I have a few texture panels I downloaded off the internet. So let's go to my desktop. I think yes, these panels here, they can be great for adding in details. So I'm just going to use some of these here. Let's try this. If we add that, you can see it doesn't look too realistic, but just have to get something to look like that. So I'm just going to use this as the roughness. Now if you look closely, you will see that we are getting some nice details in there. If I make the surface a bit darker, you can see we are getting some small detail with just using a single texture. We are already seeing something. Are those JS placement textures? JS, I'm not sure what JS is. We can also use that detail inside a bump map. So if I add a car ramp here, I can use a vector bump map. Yeah, guys, if you have a moment, just leave a like so that YouTube can push this out a bit. You can see some of the details, but if you look closely, our texture is a bit noisy. Yeah, this is it's an app for making displacements for sci-fi renders. Yeah, I'm not sure of that. I've never heard of it. Yeah, so you see our texture map is a bit noisy. So what you can do is cut some of that detail out. Something like that, so that it's not too noisy, and we are retaining most of the detail like that. So, and maybe just make it slightly like that. And the other thing we can do is that our roughness is too sharp. So there are these Grunge Map Textures. I think if you do a quick Google search, you can find some nice Grunge maps. I usually like to mix them in there. So if you look at this, it looks like that. And the resolution is not too good. You can see it's a bit pixelated. So I'm going to scale it down. And then that will make it a bit tiled. It will start to tile too much. So what I usually do is duplicate it and mix in another Grunge map, say like this. If you hold on Ctrl Shift and then drag from one node to another, you will be able to mix it with a mix node like this. So I can add in another Grunge map to break up the tiling a bit like that. And this is also a low resolution low resolution Grunge map. So I can also add texture mapping and scale it down a bit. And now I just have to mix it with these panels here. And so I'm just holding down Ctrl Shift, left drag from one node to the other to add in that mix node. And you can see now we have a nice roughness, and I can blend between these two like that, or you just use a multiply node or add. And if you feed that into the roughness, just make sure that it's not going into our normal map or bump map. So I'm just going to get this and make sure we're getting the normal map directly from our panel details. If you look closely, you just use a mix node here to blend between these two here. You can see some of the bump maps there. Let's see. Just bring this on the top. Now we can make this metallic. I'm going to speed up this so that I don't have to explain I'm going to go a bit faster so that we can finish this earlier, and that may mean I won't be explaining every step I make. So let's speed this up a bit. So with that, we can start working on the walls. And let me just scale this something like that. And I'm just going to start using my asset library here just to speed up this. I have some materials here. I'm just going to go to my city park walls. These materials are very simple materials. Let me just show you a quick breakdown of say this wall like this. It's just a single texture that is fed into the base map, alpha map, sorry, the roughness and things like that. So just let's add in some ambient occlusion here, some screen space reflections, and let's go to rendered mode so we can start working on the lighting. I usually turn off the entire light, all the lights in the scene, so that I can set up my own lights myself. And let me add, let's bring in, beautify our scene a bit. Let's see. Now, for a signpost, for a sign like this, we can, I'm just going to import some of my decors from, let's see, let me see if I add an area light here. And just change this to rectangular and scale this, give it that nice reddish color. And we can also, let me just zoom in here. We can create something like that. So I'm just going to have some text here. And give the text as some emissive material. And if we give this a bloom, so we just have to find a font similar to a Chinese font or something that follows the same style there. Let's see. And just trying to replicate the same style that he used here. So just going to scale this. And I give it the same material, Ctrl L. Yeah, if you're new here, make sure to leave a like if you find this. If you want to have me continue doing this, it would be great to get some feedback on what to improve on these live streams, because I think I will be doing this a little bit more because I like the interactivity or the style of live streams, as you can ask questions and I'll be able to answer if I can answer them. Hello, Combrain Tech, how are you doing? Yeah, so you can see there are a few things you can do to detail something like this. So for example, if I wanted to add in a few extra details, I can make this wall. What I usually like to do when I'm working with walls, I like to just work with a plane like this and then add a solidify modifier. So if I give this some thickness, now that means I can easily add in walls anywhere I want without having to worry about intersecting with the back side of the wall. So just going to have this set to even thickness like that. I don't worry too much what's going to happen in the back. Now you can see that we can easily detail okay, so you're saying there is no mic, but I'm not sure what you mean, because it shows here that the mic is okay. Maybe it's on your side. Anyway, so to add a few details here, if I wanted to create this cage, all I have to do is say add a plane, rotate it on the y-axis, scale it up, and maybe do something like this. And let me isolate this for a second. So to add in these lines, I can do something like add a few streaks like that, and then I can just grab these, or just let me first select these two sides, scale them on the x-axis, and I can grab these vertices here and the ones at the bottom here, and use this I don't know how it's called, but it can let you do something like this. So I can continue to add in more loops. Somewhere between there, and then what I can do is add a wireframe modifier like this, and you can see I get in that detail quite without having to do a lot of work. So just rotate this on the x-axis, scale this. Mike is fine hearing you loud and clear. Thank you, Mike Robert. Yeah, so Combrain Tech, I think, yeah, the problem might be on your side. So I'm just going to add this here. And you see how easily you can add details. So I want to add in this frame here, so I'm just going to do this, then insert, apply the scale, insert something like that. And then you have that. Now I also need these to continue all the way here. So what I can do is, let me see, I can use the knife tool to just cut the lines manually. And every line I add will reflect in here. So I can add them. I can just add here, or then add a loop there. Cut here, and then I should be able that there and that there, and then should be able to do that. You can see how easily it is to add in the extra details like that. Then I have these already made, something like this in my asset library, so I can find that. I have a collection called building parts, so I can this is why it is it's great to have something like this. You don't really have to use my own add-on, but the Blender asset library or asset browser, if added, I think would be a very handy tool. But since it's not there yet, I'm just using my own version, which you can get on my Blender Market page. So I have a few walls here that I could use. I like this one in particular because the textures that I added there, look good. You can see, and it's a simple mesh, just extruded in different ways, and the texture I'm using, and the texture setup is also not that complicated. So I can start placing these in different areas, and I can UV unwrap this again. can have that somewhere like this. Just going to bring this here. Now, another thing you could add in to make your renders look a bit better is if you add in a volume, some volumetrics into this. So I'm just adding a cube. This is going to contain all our volumetrics, and just have to make sure that it encloses everything. And just so we can easily see it in the preview in the viewer here, I'll just make it a wireframe like that. And in the materials, all you have to do is give it a shader principal volume, and we can remove this other shader. And if we preview this, the density is a bit too high, so I'm just going to reduce it to something like 0.01. And if you increase the emission, you get this kind of foggy look, but that's not what we're looking for here. We just want the lights here to provide that foggy look. So I'm just going to give this a power of 100. And in newer versions of Blender, you also have control over the volume setting for your light. So I can bump this up to something like 100 and something like 50 or 10, and I should see more volumetrics. And if I turn on what is it called, volumetric shadows, I should also be able to see those. And yeah, yes, give it something like that. And maybe what we could do, because this area is not getting lit up like this, I can just have this light above here. So it's something like that. And just going to push this back a little bit. You can start placing lights in different spots to see how they will affect the mood of your environment. Okay, so I have a few other assets I can add in here. I see this is a nice detailed wall, so I could use that. It's using the same setup as this. So if I add it in my scene. Yeah, sorry about that. My live stream crashed. I was using my phone hotspot for the internet, but I forgot to connect it to the charger, so it went off as I was midstream. But that was a good thing, because we started this project in a mess. I don't know. So let's start this project again in a more organized way. Hello, P Ghost. How are you? Yeah, my stream crashed because I was using my phone's internet, and I forgot to have it charged. So yeah, my phone died when I was live streaming. So what we're going to do is restart the entire project, because yeah, this is not going to work out according to how I was starting this project. It's too disorganized, and everything is like we don't really have a good plan on how to approach this project. So let's do it right, and restart this. I'm just going to delete everything and just approach this in a much better way, which is going to make it easier. And yeah, I've been following you for a long time, regular. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. So let's again, what we're going to be doing is trying to create something similar to this, not exactly this. We're just drawing inspiration from this, and it's always nice to look at good people who are very good in the industry and see what they're doing and try to pick inspiration from them. So we are going to recreate this again. The stream crashed, but that's not a bad thing, because the way we had started the project, we just started it off with no good direction to follow this. So let's start with the flow plan that we want to create, and from there we can build from bottom to top. So this is like an abandoned train station or a train station. So we can start with a flow plan and then extrude walls from that, instead of just starting with the walls, which can make it a bit harder for you to do so. So I'm just going to, let's see, maybe this could be a corridor like that, and just to make it look more sci-fi, we're going to add in those angled faces. What are you using for live streaming? For streaming, I'm using OBS, Streamlabs OBS. So this, I think, would be a nice corridor, a nice design for our flow, and then maybe add in a few edges like that to make it look more sci-fi. So then I can extrude this at the walls, and what I usually like to do is separate the top or the ceiling from the walls and then from the floor, and I can have these in their separate collection. So I want to do this more in a more organized way, so I have this in the ceiling collection, and this is going to be in the walls collection, and this can be the floor. And that should give us a nice direction. And let's bring everything back. Just extrude everything. Where's my flow? Yeah, okay. So I can. Hello, Game Shop. Hello, Mzan's Scary Videos. Scatter add-on retains memory even after I delete objects and purge unused objects. Do you have a tip to fix that? I'm not really sure. You can try to go on their on the page and see if they have anything about anything they say about that. This is cyber. This is going to be cyber scene. Yeah, so we are restarting the project afresh with a more coherent plan, because before the stream crashed, we're just doing everything without any direction, following any direction. So I'm just redoing this with a better plan, a better approach for the project. Hello, Games Ambassador. How are you doing? Yeah, so our plan is to start with a flow plan for this scene here, and then work our way up. As you can see, I've extruded the walls and then the ceiling. So we're going to start working on the lighting. So we can just also extend this a bit, and I've added these corners here just to make the scene a little bit look more sci-fi. Let me change the camera here to a wider camera, something like that. This wall shouldn't be there. Yeah, so yeah. So now if we add in our lighting, go back to the rendered scene. Now I can start to add in lights and see how they will look in our scene. So if I bring that in, and because I've separated the roof from other walls, I can turn off the ceiling so that I can see inside more clearly. How hard is updating Blender add-ons for a new Blender version? It's actually not that hard, because whenever a new version, Blender doesn't usually change their API that much. So if you're updating the add-on, it's usually updating a few lines, and whenever an add-on is not working in a specific Blender version, you get an error that tells you where the add-on is breaking. So it tells you the specific line of code that is making the add-on not to work. So it's easy to fix the add-on. And so my asset library add-on doesn't work in the current version of in Blender 2.3. Yeah, in Blender 3, sorry, the new version. that is still in work. That is still being worked on Blender 3 because they did an API change. They changed some things. I'll be fixing it, but because there's still a lot of work being done to Blender, and a lot of changes are still being made. I haven't tried to make any updates to that because I might make changes and a few days pass and then they either revert back to what I changed or just add more changes. So I'm waiting for them to have a final version and then I can so you can see now we can even plan our lighting better, maybe even try to have the same lighting as he has. We have that bluish light there. So here we can maybe also add some walls, and just so we have the same ceiling height, I'm just going to get this edge, Shift D and then P to separate it, and so I can extrude a nice wall from that. Again, we're just using this for reference because it's always, or for inspiration, it's always to work with something like that. Actually, I like how this glow effect is there, so I'm going to add a screen here. And if you want to create a screen, all you have to do is you can have a plane like this. We'll just have it look like that. And so I want our screen to be something like this. And if you have a light behind that, let me just bring it back like that, like so. What you can do is add a translucent material to this plane. So shade a translucent, and you can see we get that material, and the glow effect is a result of this bloom effect. If you're just joining us, when I started the live stream, my internet just went off because I was using my phone hotspot, which I forgot to charge. So some of the things I've already set up, I've added in ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. Yes, screen space reflections. And now our light is creating this translucent effect, like so. But this object here is casting a shadow into our scene, which I don't want. So I'm just going to go to the material setting of this object and turn on shadow mode. If you're using Eevee, it should be under your material settings. I have a question. If I want to be a 3D artist, if I want to be a 3D artist or other, what do I study? What do I study? That's a broad question because a 3D artist can do quite a lot of things. You can be in modeling, sculpting, animation. Your question is quite broad, so you just study what you enjoy right now, and you can figure it out as you go. Now if I want to add in a few extra details in here, can I export my work from Blender to Fusion 360? I'm not very familiar with Fusion 360, so what would it take for Blender to avoid add-ons like other softwares? For example, most After Effects plugins are backward compatible. Well, I'm not sure how After Effects does it, but Blender changes its API because there are a lot of new features are usually what they add in. The reason why some Blender add-ons are not backward compatible is because Blender changes a lot more faster than After Effects. And Blender also sometimes changes to when Blender switches from a different version of Python, then you can expect plugins that worked in the previous version of Blender not to work because of the API change to a different version of I'm just trying to add in a few extra details like that. No problem, Games Shop. I'm also not a native speaker, English speaker, if you can't tell from my accent. We are all learning. Yeah, so let's see what else can we do with. We can, yeah, let's add in some volumetrics. So I'm just going to add a cube, scale it up. Just go to the top here. Just make sure that it fits my entire scene, like so. Just go to wireframe so I can see everything. Yeah, something like that. And just so I can see this in the view, I'm just going to switch this to wireframe and give it a new principal volume. Connect this to the volume. It's going to be a bit too dense, so let's reduce it to something like that. Looking great, already made. Thank you, Kathik Ganiga. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so I want the volume here to be quite intense. So I'm just going to select this light and increase its volume to something like 10, so that we have some nice volume here. And I'm also going to turn on volumetric. Okay, I already have volumetric shadows on, and we don't have any materials for the walls, so I'm just going to pick use some materials that I already have in the asset library. These materials are very easy to make. I'm just going to show them to you here. Let me first unwrap this using smart projection. You can see they're just basic images connected to the principal shader, nothing fancy. So that's going to be our materials for the surface. Maybe let me show you how to create this flow surface. So let me just get rid of this, and you can extrapolate from that. I'm playing around in Blender and Magical Voxel. I like Magical Voxel, but I haven't really gotten into it quite a lot. So yeah, if you can share some of the work you have done, that would be nice. So let's create a reflective material here. So what I usually like to do is when I'm working on materials like this, I'm just going to import a texture. Let me go to my resources. I have under walls, I have some nice concrete materials. So let's begin with this. You can see how this looks. It's a rough texture. Let me first unwrap this surface. If you connect this to the base color, you can see nothing fancy. Cryptocurrency ruined the entry to VFX, especially for poor folks. Oh, you mean because they kind of made graphics card quite expensive because they're using them? Yeah, I did somehow. I learned many things from your videos. Thank you, Unreal Studio. Working on some buildings, city kind of project. Nice. Hello, ZBrush. How are you doing? Welcome to the Blender community. Yeah, so if you look closely, when the camera zooms in, you'll see that these textures are very low resolution. So what I usually like to do to cover for that, I just mix in a different texture. So something like this, and I blend them. Again, if you just hold down Control Shift and then drag from one node to the other, you can add a mix node. And yeah, so to compensate for the low resolution, I usually blend 2 or 3 or even 5 materials. So you look at this, this is also still low resolution, but if I scale this down, you can see it is tiling now. But when I blend this with another texture, you can see that we are starting to get that low frequency detail. I can also do this again. Yes, ZBrush, what is your question? I can blend this with another texture. So let me find something like this. Blend it with that until I get, again, you can see that the resolution of this is quite low. When did you start Blender? Like quite a long time. I think I started using Blender in, I don't remember the specific year, but we are on Blender 2.983. We are on Blender 2.9. I started using Blender on Blender 2.4 4B, I think. That is, I think, like 10 years back. So it's been a while. But I wasn't consistent, so I took a break for about 5 years within that period. So it was never constantly working on Blender because I was in school as well. But on the other hand, NFT boomed to look of entry people that are able to earn. So yeah, NFT is a bit confusing. It's yeah, I'm not too familiar with it. I know how it works, but yeah, I can't say that I'm an expert about that. I'm not really. I have another question. Is it necessary of you to know how to draw? It's just, or is it? Well, I don't know how to draw. I'm not very good at it. So, yeah. I don't think you really have to know how to draw. You can see now we have some nice reflections there. And to break them even further, we can bring in a grunge map. These ones, again, you can do a quick Google search and I should be able to find some nice grunge map. I'm just going to blend this. And you can see we get some nice reflections like that. Hey, Asma Gulivera, Galieva, thank you. So we have that. Let's start working on some details here. Let's add in these ceiling panels here. Okay, so let me first have this material, controlling material like that. Just we unwrap it. Okay, so let's work on the ceiling. So I have some assets that I could borrow from my asset library. If I go to the ceiling panels, I have, let's see, we can use let's see, where is this? Have the roof. Okay, I have these panels here that kind of look like this, similar to this. So I'm just going to use them. And if you look at them, they are not that. Okay, this is not supposed to be there. So let me just get rid of that. If you look at these, they are nice, well-detailed panels, and I like the textures. I spent some time working on this, knowing that I'll be reusing them somewhere. So yeah, just and they are basic planes extruded and in an H shape. I love cyberpunk and sci-fi stuff in Blender. Yeah, it's nice. I love the themes that people come up with. I'm just going to have these here, like that. Just do something like that. Reusing assets like this can sometimes feel like cheating, but yeah, it speeds up your work. Let's see, what else can we do? We can add in maybe a few, yeah, wires here. Wire details like this are your friends, so you can always use them. Okay, so this is how everything would look with the roof. Just give it a nice material as well. I think I can increase on the density of the volume here. So let me try 0.5. Okay, maybe that's a bit too high. Let's try 0.2 and increase the anisotropy. Let's start adding in some wires and some extra details. So this is a nice pipe I have. I could also start fixing it in here. Most of the time you are just set dressing and just adding extra details like this to give your scene that nice touch. What is the speed of my RAM? Let me see if I can show you the specs without showing you anything that I shouldn't be showing. So can see my computer is not that heavy, so I'm just using 8 GB RAM with a 3 GB graphics card at 1060. And like I said, most of what you'll be doing here is it's going to be set dressing. So we can continue adding in a few details. Do you use Unreal Engine? Yes, I do use Unreal Engine, but most of the time because right now I'm focused on Blender. Yeah, I haven't. I think the last time I tried using Unreal, I used Unreal Engine. Actually, it's not that far. I was creating a course on Unreal Engine, but I got distracted and haven't done it yet. So let me add in a few extra details here. Have this nice ceiling detail. Yes. Grab this. Let me show you how this one looks. You can see it's a very basic shape, but it adds quite some nice detail as well. And let me first hide the ceiling here, so you can see what's going on. So I'm just going to extend this with an array modifier. And that should give us some ceiling detail. If you guys want to get into Unreal, maybe I could do a few tutorials on that, because the thing about Unreal is real-time render engine is I think is a bit better and more advanced than Eevee. If you look at some of the renders, actually this was rendered using Unreal Engine, so you can see the amount of detail that this is. You say this one was rendered using Unreal Engine 5. And I think getting your renders to look like this using Eevee could be a bit hard. Eevee is not very good at creating high contrast details like this. I hope you leave on YouTube because data is running out now. I'm sorry about that, but okay, so. Yeah, I was saying Unreal Engine is I think is a little bit more advanced and more rich in its render engine. It's far ahead in its real-time render engine compared to Eevee, because you can see, you would think this was rendered in Cycles in an offline render engine like Cycles, but this was actually Unreal Engine. And again, let me leave a link if you want to check out what we are looking at here, or what we are using as inspiration for this. Let's see what else can we do. We can add in these flow details. They don't look too complicated, so let's see how we can approach this. Instead of using textures, we can just model this directly. So I'm just going to create a plane, a surface plane, like this. And because this material here for the ground already looks nice here, I'm just going to reuse this material for that plane. Let's scale it up, and let me first isolate this for a second. Let's try to replicate some of these details here. If I start, and I think I can select these three. If you hit I twice, you can insert the faces, and I see your PC system requirements are very weak, and Godot engine efforts there, everything is okay for 3D. I'm not sure what you mean. Hello, Star Patrick. Hello, Mob S1. Yeah, so we're creating these details here. So I'm just going to use Ctrl-Shift-B to round off those edges like that. And now I can select these delete them, and we have ourselves a nice panel that we can extend. And if we use a solidify modifier on this, we can only fill so that it looks like this, shade smooth and then auto smooth, and then add a bevel like so that we have those rounded edges. The way Unreal Engine blends background and objects is unmatched. I wish Blender could do yeah, but I think there is a plugin that kind of mimics what Unreal Engine does, but yeah, the way Unreal Engine handles it is way much better. And yeah, Blender is quite advanced, but not to the level that Unreal Engine is. I mean, Unreal Engine has a few billions behind it, since it's a product of Epic Games, and it's a product that is already making them quite a lot of money, so they invest quite a lot into it as well. So it's not fair to compare it to Blender, because Blender has just started getting funding, and it's also based on donations, which are plenty, but developing an application like Blender or Unreal Engine, yeah, eats up money like nothing. You can see just these small details, and our flow, they're starting to make our flow look even much better. Your PC state, you will not see a powerful. Your PC state, you will not see a powerful UEFO. There are only two options: Godot or Stride. Everything will be fine. Yeah, but still, Unreal Engine, I think, is better than Godot or a Stride, which I'm not even sure. I've never used Stride or even heard of it before. So you can see these panels here. Let's also create something similar. Do something again here. I'm just going to add another plane. We're just creating those surface details. So I'm just going to copy the modifiers. So we have another surface like so. Now let's also make sure that it's using the same materials. And now let's get into detailing this, so we can come up with our own details. So I'm just going to select these, Shift B, let's see if I select these. I'm just trying to see if I can come up with a different pattern. And we can use even some of these for the roof in some areas. So if I duplicate this, Shift D, you can see we can have this. Can we know your nationality? I'm from East Africa, Uganda. That's, if you know where Kenya is, or where they filmed the Lion King, it's a small country. You might not have heard about it. So I think these can be nice details in some areas like that. And we can also add in extra details, maybe add a fence somewhere here. So another way to create some nice details is if you have a plane like this and subdivide it a few times, you can use Ctrl T to add those, how are they called? Triangulate them. And if we add, is it called a wireframe? We get that nice, nice. Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. We can also add an array on this. Maybe this time we can make it thinner, like that. and have this. Maybe just bring this. Again, when you're working on scenes like this, most of what you're doing is just set dressing, making things look cooler. Thanks, man, for making such great tutorials. I watch your videos and learn from them. Thank you, thank you. It is inspiring to know that people can learn from my work as I've learned from others. Since I didn't go to school for any of this, I just watched the same tutorials you guys are watching. So it's cool that I'm also adding back to the community that gave me so much. Do you know Ebi de Villiers from South Africa? No, no, I don't. I don't. His data studio or something. Let me bring back my ceiling here and maybe add some lights at the back there. So did this 90 degrees and just make it a very powerful light. Something like 100, 1,000. Let's give it a nice. Now we can continue doing some side dressing, but instead of making details from scratch, I'm just going to reuse some of the assets I've used. I have this nice sign, so let me hang it somewhere, maybe on here. By the way, you can get these on my Patreon page if you want the models or the project file we are working on here. I'm not sure how many of you have watched the videos I've been making, releasing previously. Maybe I was going to show you some of the renders. Okay, so you see how this is coming out. I think that looks nice. And what else? Let's see. What can we add in? I want to use this wall because I think it is nicely detailed. I need a way to composite EV volumetrics. Anyway, to render only the volume as a pass. I think there is a way to do that. If you go to your render settings and where is that? I think under environment. Yeah, I think under environment, this is your volumetrics. Yeah, I think this is your volumetrics. So let me check actually. If I do a quick render with that on and go to, let me first expand this, go to compositor, use, and then add output viewer, and let's preview the environment. Okay, it doesn't seem to be the environment. Let me see, render settings. Sorry, it's volume here, this volume. If I render this again, please make a tutorial on coding and contribute in Blender. Well, Blender uses C++, and I'm not very familiar with C++. My knowledge of coding is limited compared to what is required to to contribute to Blender. Bonnie's scenes. Is this how I am supposed to make environments? I'm a huge yeah. You just have to learn. So you just have to learn. So to the person who was asking how to separate environments, I think you use volume. I use this volume setting. So let me just, yeah, you can see that I've separated the volume from the image. You can see. Yeah, so just switch on the light volume under the scene settings, and that should be it. So let's go back here. Yeah, this is why I like live streams. Because of their interactive nature. You ask a question, and I can be able to answer it right away. No problem. Just use this wall here. Just for this part. And I'm also just going to rotate this, maybe add a light here. You can see how that looks. Okay, so let's see what else. I think I need this to be yellowish light like that. Let me just okay, so I don't like this detail. Let's see what else can we add in here. Most of these are medieval, but I have some nice wires here that I can add in. I made one environment scene in Blender, but want to add snow and make camera movement like walking handheld. Yeah, so if you want to have a handheld camera movement, there is something called fly or walk. If you hit F3, you can search for walk navigation, and there is one of these can give you that walking. Yeah, and if you use your middle mouse wheel, you can. It's more like using game control. So you're using AWS to move around and E to go up and down, and you can tie that to your camera. So it's a bit tricky, but if say you have a camera, you just select it, hit record, hit play, and it's again it's very tricky. You have to hit play and then F3, walk, and start to walk, and then the keyframes will start to record like so, and after you're done you just hit escape. So if I play back, you can see that everything records, the movements are recorded. It's a bit tricky. You're better off just animating the camera as normally, and then yeah, let me just set up my scene again, just move. Okay, what else can we add in here? Let me just change this, maybe make this a bit smaller, and just extend it, then grab move. Yeah, I can add in some extra details. I like wires because they make your scene look much more realistic. So I have this nice wire I created. Let me just add that in. And just want it to be hanging over there, and you can see how it changes the scene. And then let me duplicate it again, Shift D, and just bring it there. You can see how it's making the scene look. Hello there. I'm not sure how to read that, but welcome aboard. Let's see what else can we add in here. How many Blender versions do you have installed currently? 2 versions, Blender 3 and this version here. I use Blender 3 because it has a feature where you can pack linked files into the blend file, which this version doesn't have. But Blender 3 is still filled with a lot of bugs, so I rarely use it for anything. Let me add this nice detail here. I think it will make this look better. I'm just going to bring this, give it a nice an array modifier. Okay, so you can continue adding in more details. And I have this ceiling fan. I can also add in there. Can just tweak it just a little bit. Okay, what else can we add? Because I'm running out of ideas. Let's see. I have these vents. To make this more exciting, we can import a character, a 3D character that just to see how things will look. And I think this side here needs a little bit of light, so I'm going to add an area light. Somewhere here. Maybe that's too much. So I have some characters that I could use here. Let's go into my kit bash, mega scans. Just going to add in a few characters. Just to make things more exciting. So this is a free character that you can download for free from, I think it's called renderpeople.com. And his nicely textured scan 3D model for free. So let me just, not sure what pose I could use here. Maybe have him stand on the wall. Leaning on the wall. So he has maybe smoking a joint or something. And to make him a little bit more visible, because right now we are just seeing a silhouette, I'm just going to add a light here. See how we are now, we are starting to see him. But the problem is, because we have added this light, we are also getting this specular highlight. So we can get rid of that by just reducing that, and also get rid of any volumetrics. So I'm just going to have this just be very small, be very soft, or we can just people of the future will use services like Elon Musk neural link to download skill directly to in their brains. Yeah, that will have to be in a very, very distant future, not anywhere near. Because, well, according to Elon Musk, if we are to talk about that, there's a lot of progress, but according to actual scientists, Elon Musk is also, I guess, a scientist, but some neural network experts or actual scientists who specifically study neuroscience kind of think that we are still far away from getting anywhere close to what Elon Musk wants, like generations away. So I guess it depends on who you want to believe more. I think I can just add a nice light here. If I can get a light to use. So if I go to my decos here, Elon Musk is quite an interesting character. And yeah. Let's see electronics. I have some city park buildings. Let's see. Anyway, I want to have a light here. So I don't want to create things from scratch. So I'm just going to open up a project where I have a light, and I'm just going to add it to my asset library so I can reuse it in this version. So I don't think this video, you will be selling your premium knowledge on CG Trader. Okay, I don't think this project is up already, but let me just give you a sneak peek of what I'll be releasing tomorrow. If I go to where is my project models 2021 August. Let me sort by modified Joker movie scene. Yeah, this here. Okay, this is a video I'm going to be releasing today, maybe tomorrow. Let me just show you the rendered preview of what it is. So if you are interested, where is that? It should be okay, it's not this. Anyway, let me just show you the project, how it looks here. And basically what I was doing, let me just show you the rendered video, the final video that I will be playing on YouTube. Yes, so my VS, turn off some of these effects here. Yeah, so this is what this is going to be showing tomorrow. It's just trying to recreate this scene here from the Joker. And okay, Blender is taking a while to compile the shaders here. I just wanted only this light here, but it's taking its time to compile the shaders. Okay, so I think it's done. Okay, so these materials have not yet. Okay, yeah, so this is how the scene looks. We have quite a few details, and what I was trying to recreate is this here, and you can see, yeah, so anyway, I wanted to just get a few things from this project so that I don't have to recreate them from scratch. So I want this light here, and if I want to add it to my asset, I just have to pick where I want to add it. So I'll just call this light, and then do a render preview. Okay, maybe that's a bit too extreme. Let me turn off bloom for a second. Yeah, so that's the light. Add it in. Let me see if there is anything else I could get here. I think I can also reuse this mesh here, so I'll just reuse that as well. Let me see what else I could use. I could use this deco here. Add that in. I think for the most part that's it. Yeah, actually I could also use these pipes here, so I just render them and then okay, so they're in my city park, so I can just close this project and go to my city park, and I don't even remember the category I added them into, but let's see. Anyway, to watch the full video of your time lapses, I'm not sure what you mean. Let me see, what category did I add these? I think untitled. So yeah, here's my light. I just have to add it in. Yeah, somewhere there. Just make sure that it matches the light color, so I think somewhere like that. And I also have, I added these pipes as well, so I can also reuse them here. Yeah. And I think I can also reuse this graffiti wall. Which add-on am I using? This is the asset library add-on. It's my own add-on. So you can get it on, there should be a link on any videos that I have, so okay, let's see what other details can we add in here. Let's try speeding up this, and let's see what other things can we add in. If I go to my kit bash, these are models from how are they called? These are models from I think, can't remember the name. Let me add in this barrier from Quixo Mega Scans. It's these are 3D scanned models. They're quite nice and they're very detailed, so you can place them. Again, what we are doing now is just set dressing, adding in details. So this here, you can see how detailed this looks, but I don't like how rough the material is, so I just add in a math node here and play with the roughness and make it more shiny, like so. Okay, if you want to buy it, let me just show you where you can get it. Let me get the link. Now, if you want to get it, here's the link. But the assets don't come with the add-on. Those, I guess I'll just make a package where you can get them directly. It just helps you reuse the assets that you already have. Just going to, and makes it easier. So it works like how you'd expect the asset browser, the Blender asset browser that they are working on, except that is the asset browser, the Blender asset browser is taking way too long to be completed. So this is a nice alternative as you wait for that one to come in. And you might even get used to this and never want to switch back to the whatever Blender manages to come up with. Let's see what else can we add in. We can add in these text because I think I like it. And what we can do for that, if you don't know how to use fonts in Blender, let me show you how you can use them. It's actually very nice, very easy to use. So let's look for, I think these are Japanese or Chinese fonts. Chinese font. Yes, so let's just download whatever works here. Download. I'm downloading these from Google Fonts. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, I'm not sure how big this is. So it's going in 40 MBs. Okay, nice. Done. Let's just get this. Open folder, extract. Let me just have these in my fonts. So you just write if you want to use any font in Blender, you just write the text. You just add a text object. So like this. And just go to the object data or object text settings. Open that and navigate to where you have downloaded the fonts. In my case, that should be under fonts here. And that font is called did I paste them here? Did I paste them? Yeah, okay. Doesn't seem... Okay, Blender seems to read a certain format, which is not the format I downloaded. So let's just go with any format here. Let's just use T-Rex. And create a very emissive material here. The shader emission at 10. P-Ghost, how are you? So what kind of assets asset library are you using now? What kind of not sure what you're trying to ask there, but basically this is just an add-on that lets you reuse objects. So for example, if I wanted to reuse this text in another project, all I have to do is add it to my asset library. So just add asset and then render that text. You can see, let me first turn off bloom so that it's visible. So you can see that, and then it's added. So whenever I open up a new project, it's just 3 or 4, just like it's 3 steps and you're done. So I just go to the asset library and find, you need to make sure to note what library you have added. So added the text to. So this is in my mega scans. It's just a folder on your computer. That's what a library is. And okay, I don't remember what category this was in. Yeah, you can see that it's there. And now I've managed to add it in, and it's still editable if you want to make changes to it. And it comes with all the materials that you had already set up in the project. Yeah. I always wanted to get that kind of functionality in Blender, and it was very hard to get. What's the name of the add-on? It's called the Asset Library, and it's the link that you see 2 lines above your text. Yeah, so this is going to be T-Rex Systems. Systems. I'm forgetting systems. Okay, yeah, spelled like that. And is it free? No, it's not free. It's a paid add-on on Blender Market. So I can convert this into. Do I need to convert it? I can give it a wire. Let me see. Can I give it a? Okay, it can't. I can convert this to a curve object and give that curve okay, did I convert it? Yeah, give it as a bevel. Yeah. And then maybe let's change this to different color. And let's try a different lighting strategy. Let's use more than one light here. We can do something. Let's see. Let's get rid of this light and just use a single light here. And we can reduce the strength. Something like 500. For some reason, Blender Market won't load for me. I keep getting, oh no, something broke. Let me make sure that it's not. Yeah, so the page should look like this. This is the asset library if you want to get it. Yeah, maybe try, I don't know, maybe you can try refreshing. Okay, so what else can we do? We can add in a few extra details here. I'm just going to duplicate this because I see that there isn't a lot of detail here, so I'm just going to rotate it. Scale this in. Change your name, your channel name, man. Change your channel name, something more unique, recognizable. Yeah, I'm not very good with names. So even if I tried to change this, if I changed the name of the channel, I would, it will still be a very, it won't be a unique name, it will be worse because I'm not very good at naming things. And I went with something generic because I really I didn't know where I wanted the channel to go. So when I was starting out, I wasn't sure that I was just going to make a Blender content. That's why you see that the name is not a Blender something name. Yes, so this is T-Rex Systems. Seahawk, I'm not sure what the problem could be. Maybe it's your network. I'm just not sure. Let's continue adding in some extra details. So in my city park, I have a few other things how we could look at. In the deco, we have some nice pipes. I can add those in here. Your channel name is like typical channel that live stream football match illegal. Love your content. Yeah, I'm not very good with naming, so I'm just going to stick with this one because whatever other name I come up with is also going to suck. So, and this one already, a lot of people are already familiar with this one, so I'm just going to stick with it. Yes. Okay. Okay, we can also reuse this guy here. Maybe just yeah, I would probably go with your own name for the channel. Yeah, I don't like using my own name because I don't know. I just don't like using my own name on a lot of things. I think we can add a wall here. Let me see if I have some nice walls. Alright, we can add this Coca-Cola fridge somewhere here. Oh, God. Add this here. And then just so it's visible, we can add a light somewhere here. Hello, gaming. Where are you from, Adeline? I'm from East Africa, that's Uganda. Let's see, what else can we add in here to make things more interesting? I think I like this grid here. So I'm just going to copy that with everything that makes it and just move it somewhere else. Yeah, somewhere like that. But this time, just change the color. And as I said, I need a wall. So if I go to my building library, building parts, I can look for walls and let me see what wall would work here. I have this one here. I want this guy to be leaning on that. So let me just get that. And I also like this detail. Let me just grab it, Shift D, and add another one of these. like so, like there. Let's see what else. I like this cage. We can add it somewhere there. Are you financially well doing this 3D tutorial over there where you live? Sorry if it's too bad. It's okay, but because maybe this gives me a chance to talk about how things are. You see, I'm from Africa, and Uganda is a kind of a third world country, so I don't really have to make a lot to kind of enjoy a good standard of living here. It's not, the standard of living here is not that expensive, so I don't have to make a lot of money to be doing well, and I think I'm doing fine financially. So, and as I said, you don't really have to be earning too much, a lot, to be doing well here, and I think I'm doing fairly good financially. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, the great thing is that I don't really have to, I'm not renting or anything. I'm living in my own house, so that also makes things even much easier for me. Okay, so what else can we add here? Let's see. Let me look at windows. Nothing interesting. Vents. We already added that. Uncategorize roofs. I think this is coming out looking great. And I like these line details, so I'm just going to, let me first get rid of this bevel. Just add in these flow details because I think good for you, man. Have a nice stream. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Let's see another flow there. Maybe before we do that, I had another detailed. Okay. And we can also bring in another one of these walls. Extend them maybe. Hello, Hassan Holmaz. Holmaz, is it? Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but how are you doing? Let's bring back our roof. Okay, that's how things are looking. Now, if we look at this from this view, this is how everything looks. I think it's coming out quite nicely. What else can we add? Let's go into pipes. Nothing interesting. Guardrails. Nothing interesting. Flows. Nothing interesting. Decals. Nothing interesting. Sailing, on the other hand, we can add this. These are ceiling lights that I had for a previous project. So let me just reuse those. Yeah, so I'm about to end my stream because I think we are 2 hours in, maybe 1, 2, I don't know. And I think where we are now, this is a satisfying results for 1 hour and 16 minutes work. This is not bad. If we can do a quick camera animation here, and we can do a quick pan, maybe pan from here, and the camera should be moving forward like so. And I just have to have some extra details to show on this side of the wall, because right now it looks a bit too plain. So what we can do is let's see what else can we do. What details can we add here? Have these spiral steps. Let's see if it would work here. So yeah, I think it looks nice. Now we could add, I'm just going to reuse this guy here. Maybe this time let's use ephemeral character. So let's I have these characters in my Mega Scans library. So this lady here, you can have her on these steps. And then all she has to do is bend. I want to make it look like she's just standing on this guardrail like this. Yeah, so yeah, we start off from this wall, and then maybe we can also bring in a few extra details over. Maybe let's try and see if this would work. Here, maybe a smaller version of this. This one can be less powerful. Maybe a different color. Let's try other things like let's go in the deco section and see. We have nothing interesting here. Let's see metals. Let's try a different park, city park. buildings, decors. I can try these pipes and see if they would work here, because this wall here is a bit too bare for me, so I'm just trying to add extra details to break it up just a bit so it's not too plain. Okay. Yeah. So camera starts off from this side and then pans around, and yeah, we lack a few details here, but yeah, I think my computer is getting overwhelmed with the streaming and all of these details in the scene. Anyway, I'm going to give this a quick render, and I'll be posting a time lapse of this entire process if you want to watch that. So yeah, thank you for coming around, and thank you for everyone who has been active in the chat. If you haven't liked the stream, you can please do leave a like, and just so that it can help out with the stream a little bit with the YouTube algorithm and everything else. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm very glad that you've chosen to join me